there are. There are obviously, as you know, I specialize in venomous animals, and invertebrates and reptiles being one of the areas where I pay particular attention to. And of course, you do have the Montpellier snake, which is the largest snake found in the region, and this is commonly found in the El Torcal area. Now, the Montpellier snake is a fascinatingly beautiful snake because apart from it being a huge snake, it rears up almost like a cobra. And it is sometimes called the European cobra because of the way it rears up and flattens out its neck.
Now, quite frightening, really.
Yes, and also fascinating. Now, these snakes are pretty big, so they can feed on large prey such as rabbits and small hare. And it's a back-fanged snake, so it's venomous, but not extremely venomous. And you would be quite unlucky if you were bitten by this snake because it is a back-fanged snake. Now, let's look at a venomous animal, Karen. Now,
something I don't look forward to.
This you will not find in El Torcal. You will only find, let's move Humphrey to a safer distance here. And this interesting specimen I brought in to show you because I thought you would be interested. You may remember in the past we looked at a giant centipede from India.
That was right, yes.
Okay, now here I've brought in, especially for you, a rare scorpion. Now this rare scorpion comes from India. Now, in the past, in the past, I've handled African scorpions. Now, scorpions from India are different. India has some of the largest scorpions in the world, but they are very aggressive, as you can see. He is ready to sting. But interestingly, scorpions from India hiss very loudly. They produce a hissing sound, which is called stridulation. So if you listen, you can hear that pretty audible sound. That hissing sound.
Now, don't you go upsetting him too much.
No, I'm just going to turn him around so the camera can get a better view. And there you have a perfect view of the scorpion. Now, you can see he is very stimulated by my movements because he's turning around when he sees me move in order to attack. And I'm trying to get him to turn around so that he faces the camera. Yes. And you can see him ready with the Telson and ready to sting, poised to sting. And these scorpions tend to have an interesting neurotoxic venom that causes all sorts of interesting effects when it penetrates the body.
Okay.
Now, as I say,
I'll ask you about that when you put him away.
We get some of the largest scorpions in India. And next time we will be looking at some more interesting specimens from India. But this will be the first time that this species of scorpion has ever been filmed live in Europe because it is a rare species.
Right. Okay. Well, thank you for that.
So that was a little treat for you.
Oof, no, it wasn't.
And he doesn't want to go back in now, you see. Should we just leave him out for you, Karen?
No.
And there you can see.
Oh, he's gone
very
back
aggressive.
in. And so you were saying the venom can cause some very strange occurrences in humans. What type of symptoms would you get? Well,
all sorts of symptoms. It's usually neurotoxic, and this is going to cause stomach cramping, arthralgia, stiffness of the joints, sweating, vomiting, headaches, nausea, all sorts of effects. Interesting effects that are also caused by this spider. Now, this spider is covered in my book, The Poisonous Creatures of the Mediterranean. Now, this is a wolf spider, and we do have an image of the wolf spider. Because this spider is small, the camera is not going to get a really good shot of it, and that's why we have an image, so you can have a closer look. Now, these spiders are very fast moving, as you can see, and
get him back in.
We can. That is now spiders have a small respiratory system. So they tend to run very quickly, and then they run out of breath. And then they go into a second mode, which is what we call the aggressive mode. Now, because they're out of breath, they then become aggressive and open up their fangs, and that's when they're ready to bite, and that's when you'll get bitten. Now, the first defense strategy of these spiders is to run away. Now, these spiders, interestingly, are also found in different areas of the Mediterranean. When they're found in Italy, in times gone by, they were believed to cause a form of madness. Now, this might be because of, obviously, when people are bitten by a large spider, they are in shock. And the shock may have caused this delirium and madness. But the only cure then was purportedly to dance the tarantella. And this was a frenzied dance to the sound of flutes and fiddles. And you would be cured when you fell to the floor exhausted.
Okay, are you putting him away now?
Shall we try that, Karen? Shall we see if that works? Right, okay.
He's in there.
There we go. But don't worry, I'm a professional.
I know.
And I have worked with very fast-moving specimens. And as you can see, this is a very fast-moving specimen. Now, usually I would not release something like this in a studio, but I thought it was important in order to demonstrate how fast-moving they are.
You could have warned me.
Then that would have not been any fun. But as you can see, we are always in control of the matter. Now, here we have, do you know what this is?
No, I don't.
Okay, this is the nest of a paper wasp. Now, paper wasps are one of the most angry insects found here in this region, and you will come across them in El Torcal as well. They're covered in my book so that you know what to do if you are stung by one of these creatures. And the paper wasps produce this beautiful, intricate nest, which is a pulp of wood that they chew and obviously create this, and that's why it's called, obviously, a paper wasp, because it's a type of paper. And this is soluble, so if you're trying to get rid of the nest, wet it, hose pipe it, and you can get rid of the nest.
As easily as that? Now, we do have a close-up of the awful wool spider that was running around the desk earlier on, and perhaps we should have a little look at that. There we go. Just to look how, in my opinion, how awful and aggressive it looks. And that was running around near me.
That's right. And here we have a beautiful female, and you can see the bright red chelicera, or the fangs, which it displays, the aposematic coloration, warning predators that don't mess with me, this is a poisonous spider. And this female, you can just see behind it, if you look closely, it's guarding an egg sac. And wolf spiders guard an egg sac in a shallow retreat, and when the babies hatch out, they climb onto the mother's back.
Right.
And she carries them around until they are able to fend for themselves and hunt for themselves, and then they disperse.
Okay, to breed even further.
That's right.